Hello, welcome to a new video. My name is Frankie, if you've never been here before. I said to the vlog I'd probably have short hair next time, and I was right. I did get my hair chopped before Christmas. I'm wearing my carousel sweatshirt, which you can't really see because I'm on the floor. Trying to find an angle that was good was very difficult. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my travel experience flying and navigating airport whilst I'm doing a bit of makeup for the day, which I'm not a beauty guru, so I'm not going to talk about what I'm doing because no one will learn anything from me. I learn it all from other people. So we flew from London Luton Airport. There was panic that the flight might not go ahead because the snow was horrendous in London. We had just travelled from Cornwall where there had been no snow. So yeah, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to fly, but we managed to park up. And by the time we woke up on the Monday, we were good to go, which was amazing. It stopped snowing. We were delayed by, I want to say 3 hours. I think we were supposed to take off about 7:30, and then we took off at 10:30, I think. It's something like that. Ash will know. Ashley, please comment, because you know. Yeah, so we took off late, which was okay, as long as we took off. That was kind of like my mentality. So before like actual getting to the airport side of things, we obviously had the thing of like extra luggage and that kind of stuff for me, because obviously like stoma supplies take up a lot of, you know, allowed luggage, and that was like a big thing when it came to flying. I'd emailed EasyJet about it like months beforehand. As soon as I knew who we were flying with, I asked the question of, right, what can I get, basically, because EasyJet are a little bit stingy, no offence, when it comes to extra luggage. So that was a big concern. And then the day before we flew, there's a bit of panic about whether I'd be allowed an extra bag. So my dad, being the absolute superhero that he is, called EasyJet for me. He called special assistants, because I was very much quite upset at this point because I just wasn't sure if everything I'd planned I'd done properly. You know, I'd contacted them, Ash had added it onto the booking and that kind of stuff, but I just wasn't sure if everything we'd done was done correctly. So I just had a bit of a panic and a bit of a flap about it. There's a bit of panic regarding my extra bag, which had literally like every single bit of stoma supplies I needed to take with me and wanted to take with me, because I took enough for the week plus like double that, just because you never know. And obviously I had like documentation, I had this with me, like I had this little guide thing, that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that everything I had in that bag was going to be allowed on the flight, basically. And the woman was amazing. She made sure it was definitely headed to the booking and that kind of stuff. So we were good to go. Got to London Luton Airport, I was given one of these special assistance. I have to say, London Luton Airport for special assistance was incredible. We got there, it was busy because of flight cancellations and stuff. You know, we patiently waited. It was like 5 AM in the morning. It was crazy being up so early for a flight. And then once we did that, we got my lanyard. It was on, so Ash looked at our boarding passes on his phone, because he was able to do it on his phone, and next to my name on the boarding pass was an SA mark, which obviously was for special assistance, which was good news, because obviously that meant I definitely had the special assistance marker against me for things like extra luggage and stuff that I was panicking about. So yeah, that was like my main concern, and that was fine. Yeah, so once we'd done all of that, sorry, just put setting spray on. Once we'd done all of that, we went through to check our luggage in. Yeah, we went to check our luggage in, and because of the lanyard and because of speaking to special assistants, so we asked the lady at special assistants if there's a way of us getting through that kind of things quicker, because as soon as we looked at the queue for that check-in, after we'd been told we could get through quicker, I was so relieved, because the queue was horrific, like absolutely horrific. Obviously there'd been flight cancellations overnight and that kind of stuff, so people were just trying to board whatever flight they could get on. Queuing is like my biggest nightmare, hence the reason and the need for things like a priority pass and being able to, you know, skip through check-in. So yeah, we managed to skip through check-in, which was really helpful. We got sent down to the front of the desk. The only thing I would say, there wasn't anyone we could see. The guy sent us down there, then there was another lady we spoke to who then called a colleague over who helped us with the checking in of the bags, because like there's like the weighing scales and stuff, so we had to do all of that. And then that got our luggage through, which was amazing. Like, literally, we'd been there at this point for like 20 minutes. Like, it was so quick. I think even maybe less than that, maybe like 15 minutes. We hadn't been there very long in the airport at all. And then there is fast track security at Luton as well, which is amazing. So when we went over to start sorting all our liquids out and stuff, because myself and Julia didn't have the right kind of little baggies for that, because Tara's recently been on a plane and Ash didn't have anything. Yeah, we're sorting all of that out. Ash went over to speak to the chappie at the desk, and he said, yep, you can get through here. So basically, fast track you have to pay for normally, but if you've got one of these, you don't have to pay for it, which is a huge relief, because again, queuing for that kind of stuff is just a nightmare. So yeah, the fast track was amazing. We got through really quickly. I say that, I left my belt on, so I got called over at security, as you would have seen if you watched the first video. It was a little bit embarrassing, and Tara laughed at me quite a lot. The lady was not amused. We got through security really quickly, which was amazing, because like I said, queuing is my worst nightmare. Yes, we did all of that nice and quick, and then obviously security sorted me out. It was fine. Like, even with that delay, we still got through really quick. Then we went to find breakfast. We had, I was going to say we had waffles, didn't we? We had pancakes. Yes, we had crepes. Like, trying to jog my memory. And then we got to the gate for our flight. This is where the only thing that I could criticise with London Luton Airport. So we got sent down to like a random like special assistance area to like sit and wait, which, to be fair, looking back on it, there was nowhere to sit at the other end, so I guess actually it was quite nice us being sat there. And then someone said, right, you can go over to your gate now. So we thought that was the gate. It wasn't. Then we got sent to the gate, and then we skipped through the front of the queue. So they had like an express queue, so again, I guess this is what you pay for, kind of like the fast track. So you pay for like an express flight boarding. So I ran forward to check to see if, like, with the lanyard and stuff we could go through. Then I just like called the rest over to come and join me at the front of the queue. So we were the first ones to board the plane on the way out to France, which was amazing. Yeah, this is the only thing I preferred in France, and I'll say why in a minute. Just because, yeah, that bit kind of worked a bit better over the other side. We were in the queue, and then we got sent down through. There was lots of delays with the flight. The pilot was late, which I'm guessing was because of the weather. And then the plane had to be de-iced, but we had to go in a queue to be de-iced. It was very complicated, a bit, you know, random. We got sent down and went down, and we were still outside waiting for about 25 minutes in the cold, which wasn't ideal, but it's fine. The only issue I had, so we were sat on the plane for a while before takeoff, and they'd done all of the like food orders and stuff for people to kind of like kill a bit of time, because obviously it's a short flight anyway. People aren't going to be wanting much to eat on a short flight, I don't think. But because I couldn't eat on my breakfast, I was a bit nervous. And then at that point it was like, well, we'd eaten so early, it must have been about 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, before 6, I think we went to the gate at 6. We'd eaten breakfast at like 5:30, 5:45, and then I think I got a bacon roll on the plane at about 9ish. Maybe a little bit later than that, must be about 10ish. I think she gave it to me not long before we took off. So I was eating that on takeoff, and then I noticed my bag got very, very full very, very quickly, which was not ideal, to the point of like waiting for that sign to come on to say about seatbelts was like the longest, however long it was. It just felt really long, and I was a little bit concerned. Maybe that's something I will ask when we fly to Florida, like what the restriction is on that, because I guess obviously takeoff's a bit difficult because of you're suddenly really vertical in the air. Like going up is quite like, you know, it's quite quick and you could fall over and stuff. I suppose it's quite a risk, isn't it? So yeah, maybe that's the kind of thing I'd ask next time, like what the thing would be, because obviously if like my bag had decided it was going to explode, like there's nothing I could do at that point. I was wearing blue jeans, it would have been horrendous. Luckily it was fine. Did my first airplane empty. The toilets are ridiculous. Like there is no accessibility on a plane that small when it comes to toilets. Like it was a joke, but you know, still got the job done, still got through it, so it's fine. Yeah, so where do we go next? That would have been border control. Border control was really quiet, so that worked in my favour. There was no queuing at all. Just don't mind me, I'm using my new brushes from Ashley Sweet. got it for Christmas. Yeah, there was no queuing for border control over in the French side. It was empty, and I guess that's because of the lack of flights coming in. It was really good, so that was fine. And getting our luggage was really quick as well, so that whole side was fine. So yeah, then we were in Disney. So I need to move because my foot's going dead. Ugh. When we got to Disney, we went straight to the concierge desk and reception and signed ourselves in. Checked in. Ash grabbed everything we needed for that perspective, and then I asked about where I could sort out the priority card because I'd already signed up for it on the app like a week or two beforehand. I got myself something called an access card, which I paid for. It was like £15, I think, basically to like explain why I need certain access to certain areas, which I'm gonna totally use in the UK because it's got like a queuing mark on there and it's got a toilet mark on there, so it's like perfect, because that's literally like my biggest concern in life is that I'm queuing too long and there's no toilet nearby. So yeah, I showed that to the lady at the desk as like my proof of document. So I had all this documentation printed off from the doctors and from the hospital. I didn't need any of it, so that was good. Yeah, so I showed her the access card, and then she said my photo was like the wrong way around because I'd submitted a photo already and the photo had like come the wrong way around, so she had to do the photo for me, which was absolutely hilarious because the photo is too funny because she's literally holding a webcam camera like up to the sky. It was so funny. That priority card was a dream. It allowed up to 4 of us to go onto attractions like through fast passes, or what's it called, Premier Access, I forget, it's changed, Premier Access queues. And if there's no Premier Access queues, or in some cases there was one but they'd send me to the disabled queue anyway. Yeah, so in those cases I'd go through the disabled queue, which was, I think that was Crush's Coaster was like the main one like that. So yeah, we went down the disabled queue, which was good because it got us through quicker. Yeah, I cannot fault that card at all. The only thing was it only allowed 2 of us for like parades and stuff. And when things like the fireworks, we didn't use it for that obviously because we couldn't. And that whole firework experience was actually horrendous. I hated it. I love watching the Disney fireworks, and that was the worst experience I've ever had watching them. Like, it was awful. People just so rude. And I like genuinely think next time round I go to Paris, there's quite a few of us planning on going in a couple of years, and I'm gonna have to like either just take me and Ash to a special area because I genuinely did not feel safe. Someone could have barged into my stoma. Like, they're just, you know, people don't know, do they? And they don't see it, so they're not gonna worry about the fact they're shoving them through a crowd of people. So that's the only gutting thing, that it didn't allow up to 4, because otherwise the 4 of us would have used that and utilised that as much as we could. But yeah, if you're planning on going to Disney and you've got a stoma or Crohn's or colitis, whatever, yeah, definitely look into the priority card. I didn't for February. It was my friend who went with her cousin, and she was like, mate, you need to get yourself a priority card. So yeah, I'm totally gonna utilise that from now on. And obviously for Florida, I need to look into the DAS pass. So if anyone's got any experience with that, please let me know. Tara does, because her dad had one. But anyone from a Crohn's and stoma perspective, if you can let me know what it's like over in Florida, that'd be amazing. Thank you very much. Priority card, totally worth it. Then back to airport side. So obviously we had a lovely holiday. It was good fun. We made the most out of the priority card. We met so many characters because of it. We got to like sign up to like queuing times and stuff, so they would give us a time to go back, so we didn't have to like stand in a really long queue to meet a character. Like, it was really good. We did that on quite a few characters as well. We did it on Goofy and Pluto, Merida. No, Merida wasn't one. That was the Princess Pavilions. Queen of Hearts and White Rabbit. Who else did we do it on? I swear we did it on someone else. Oh, Olaf we went to do it on, but the woman, I think, had done it a bit wrong, so they just kind of like let us go quite early in the queue. I think she might have been new, so I don't think she really understood the process, but it was fine. We still got to meet Olaf really quickly. Yeah, so anyway, back to the other side of things. So once we'd got to the airport over on French side, there was no like, so where did we go through? So obviously put our luggage in. There was a special assistance desk, but it wasn't very clear. So I remember seeing there was like a special assistance like person, but it just wasn't very clear. But the queue wasn't ridiculous anyway, so you know, we kind of just stood and waited in the queue as normal. And then speaking to that lady, she added on my extra bag again, so like that was definitely on there as like an extra bag for medical stuff. And she, you know, sent us to the medical desk. She'd written the special assistance desk, sorry, she'd written down something, and then when we got to the special assistance desk, we were chatting to them there, and then they were like, oh, do you need a wheelchair and like all this stuff, and I was like, no, like I can walk, it's okay, like I don't need a wheelchair, please don't give me a wheelchair, because that's really not what I need right now. And then that was like, luckily that was just kind of like null and void, but I don't think it was for me anyway. I think it was for somebody else. Yeah, so we did that bit, and then security wasn't too long. There was no special assistance there at all. Like there was no like fast passing security, which was fine. It wasn't like insanely busy, and I stuck with Ash the entire way, which was fine because Julia and Tara got like split off to another side. So luckily I kind of just stuck with Ash, because I would have refused to have gone. I had to be with one of them. Like it would have been horrendous if I hadn't been. And that was a bit different as well, because you had to put all your like electronics and stuff in your bags. Like everything had to be a bit more split out compared to England's side, but luckily everything went through fine. There was no issues with any of our luggage, because it had like a cool like two-way split, so if anything was off in one of the boxes, it would go down a different like channel. So it had like two channels, like one you could grab your stuff straight away, and one that would have to go through the security people. So yeah, luckily that it was fine. That was an absolute breeze, like no issues at all. Ash got stopped by security that time, so that was fun. Yes, we got through that okay. And then where was next? To the gate. So the gate situation was different to London side. So instead of it being like a gate, it's like a lounge at Charles de Gaulle. And we were sat basically right next to where the gate is, but it wasn't like in London Luton where it has like a specific like sectioned off area. It was just like a big open space. So we sat and waited there for the flight. The flight was again delayed, but not very long, because it was delays coming from Luton, because it had people coming off it when it landed. But this was the cool bit. This is what I liked, and I preferred to the Luton side of things when it came to this. So when we got to we were sat at the gate just chilling and, you know, chatting and stuff, and then over the big loudspeaker comes, Millard Francesco, please can you come to the desk for more information? And I was like, okay, I'll come to the desk, I'll go find out what's happening. And then I got there, the guy was like, yep, you can be like escorted down now. And I was like, this is fancy. So I was like, oh, I've got my 3 friends with me as well, so I called them over, because I'd left all my stuff where we were sat because I didn't know what they wanted. My favourite bit was though that these 2 English ladies were like, oh, they want more information from us, and I was like, not you, Angel, me. Like I felt a bit extra being called forward at that point, because I was like, I feel really like bougie because I'm like an important person right now. Yeah, that was fun, and that was good. So there was only one other pair who were, there's a lady in a wheelchair with her son, I think, so they were together, so I let them on first, obviously, because, you know, I wasn't in any rush, but being able to go on as early as I did was amazing. It meant we could get comfortable on the plane and stuff. Yes, that was good. That was really exciting. Yeah, I totally preferred that, because at the gate of Luton there just doesn't seem to be any like special assistance, in the fact that it was like I was being called to be escorted onto the plane, whereas like with Charles de Gaulle it was literally like I was actually being escorted down the queue, so I was being taken through past other people who'd already been down through. Yes, that was cool. And the guy was really lovely that looked after us, so that was good. We got on the plane, and then got on the shuttle bus to security. So again, I don't know whether it was because it was so late at night, but we were just a bit like unobservant of like any special assistance. And then we walked through this queue. It was quite long, like, you know what those queues are like when it's like this the whole time round. And then it got opened again right in front of us to like make it even longer. But there was like a special assistance bit, but it just wasn't very obvious. That's the only thing I would say. Like by the time I'd seen it, we'd kind of already gone past it, so I was like, oh, whoops. But the guy was really lovely, so he got us to like cut through to make the queue a bit longer, so we had to keep winding around. But then he was like, oh, I've just spotted your lanyard. Honestly, this is a dream. Spotted the lanyard, and he apologised for the fact he hadn't spotted it. And then he stopped people from going through, so he was like, no, you wait. And then cut us through, and he really apologised for the fact he'd missed the lanyard on me. So whoever you are, if you see this, absolute legend, because you were really lovely and we really did appreciate it. It was so late at night, I was not in the mood to queue. Just with my bag could do whatever it wants right now. You know, late at night it does become a little bit more active, so I was a little bit more concerned about standing in a queue for a very long time at security. Then it didn't take long to collect all our luggage, which was good. Like, it was quite quick. I think it was on that side. Tara had like dents on her bag and Ash had like footprints on its luggage, so that was fun. Yeah, so we got all our luggage. That was really quick. And then, yeah, that's the only thing you do then, isn't it? Yeah, so we didn't have anything to declare or anything, so we just went straight through to leave. And it was brilliant. Like, for what has been the biggest concern since booking this holiday, to being an absolute breeze for someone like me who worries a lot. Like, Ashley and Tara are brilliant with me because they both know how much I worry, and they both were like, well, why are you worrying for no reason? Because we don't know what's going to happen. Which is like, in my head I go, I'm worrying because I don't know what's going to happen, whereas they're like, why are you worrying? Because you don't know what. You know what I mean? Like, it's changing my mindset a bit, I think, might help. And maybe I'll bring a little bit more of that into 2023. Yeah, but they, honestly, they're both so amazing with me, because they just don't take any shit from me. Like, when I start worrying, they're like, I'm worrying, what's wrong with you? Yeah, so they were both amazing, as was Julia. And I couldn't fault it. So London Luton Airport is Frankie approved when it comes to flying. I would 100% fly from there again. And I would fly with EasyJet again, because they were really helpful when it came to adding special assistance. We're flying with BA for Florida. I don't actually know where we're flying from. Gatwick, I think? I have no idea. Ash knows, Tara knows, but I just never remember these things. So if anyone wants any like travel tips and stuff about like the Luton experience, please let me know. I'm probably going to do a blog post as well to kind of like step by step what I've discovered from my experience, because there just wasn't anything that was my issue. There was nothing. Like, I like seeing other people's experiences because I know they're real, rather than like, this is what you could expect, this is what you actually will expect, this is what happens. And all the information online was rubbish. Like, it just wasn't helpful at all from like the actual airline and stuff. So yeah, I've got my own tips now that I can share with people about my own experience, and I'm really glad it went well, because it was a huge stress and a huge panic. So that's the end of the video. Makeup's all done. Thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to try and do some more vlogging in the new year. Make it a bit of a, not a resolution, because I never stuck to them. Just make it something that I want to try and like do a bit more of, because I do really enjoy doing it. And yeah, so I shall see you again soon. Thank you for watching.